task 4 of 6 we're up to right now. So, the production, actually creating the thing that you outlined in your early stages, your research, your pitch and proposal, and your pre-production that you would actually create. So, it's all coming to fruition at this point. The production, along with the pre-production, covers outcome 3.4. Now, we at this stage are right in the thick of it. We have planned, researched, done a detailed research paper for task 1, which looks at the codes, conventions, techniques, and methods used in a range of different existing similar media artifacts to gain an understanding of the domain, how it works, what's normal, what's expected, what's good. You've discussed how each of these artifacts inspires you, and as we've discussed, extracted what you're going to take from it. The pitch and proposal you have delivered to me by this point. Your proposal document and your 5-10 minute pitch with me and one of my colleagues. Your pre-production at this stage is looking pretty good as well. You have a production file full of documentation that's relevant to your FMP, and you also have a journal that is well and truly up and running and is updated every single time you work on this project. Try to do it more regularly than once a week. Should be 2-3 times a week at least. Here we are then, task 4, the production itself. So once you're in production, you're going to continue to develop, as I've mentioned, your journal as evidence of your work, a back channel, a stream of communication to myself, the assessor, and people who mark my marking, to show us the process, your ideas, how things changed, how you adapted, how you overcame obstacles, your story, as it were. I'm looking for you to add to this now for task 4 production by giving me the following: behind the scenes pictures and video of you working to provide further supporting evidence. So perhaps you can work in a buddy group of 2 or 3 people whereby you take each other's photographs and videos of you working. It's quite difficult to, film yourself while you're actually working. It's a bit awkward, so you may want to get up each other to get some snaps, some images to go onto your WordPress blogs to illustrate your process, to add colour and texture and more interesting visual evidence to your text journal updates. I'm looking for changes to elements of your production here as well. So any changes to your scripts or schedules or call sheets or any of the pre-production planning that you did for task 3, any changes to your production, I want to see them reflected here. I want to see different copies of different versions of any scripts. Now, the Google Docs and the new Microsoft Office Docs suite, Office 365 G Suite, is wonderful in that it auto-updates, auto-saves, and that's great. But for the purposes of this exercise, I need to see the changes. So, if you are making another version of it, then click on File. I'll show you as I'm talking about it. You can click on File and then make a copy to actually literally make a copy of a document, a spreadsheet, a presentation, whatever it is that you are showing those different changes and iterations to. So if I go to this document here, for example, and I go to File at the top here, and then make a copy, I then get the option of another copy, which will keep the original as is and create this new second version for me to actually annotate and edit as I see fit. Quite useful, particularly for the purposes of this assignment. So, any changes to elements of your production, show me those changes. Detailed reflective journal entries. I want to see more honesty, more detail, more reflection about the process, what you're doing, why you're doing it, justifying what you're doing, measuring yourself against industry landmarks and milestones as to why you are making the choices and decisions you are making. I want to see you think in those terms. Like, you're doing this because this is what industry does, and this is why they use this software, and this is why they plan this out, and this is why. By researching the domain you are working in within task 1, you have an understanding of what is normal, what's expected, what is professional within the domain you are currently working in for the FMP. Show me detailed reflective journal entries throughout your production, please. And of course, your final project itself I want to see completed in this stage as well. Now, your project must be submitted by the deadline. Now, the deadline is, of course, at the end of this 6-task brief, the 7th of June 2019 at 4:30. So not long. We need to go. So your final production must be accessible on your WordPress. So you need to play it back. You need to actually make sure it works okay. One way of doing that, Control Shift and N on your keyboard will give you an incognito tab that will enable you to test the URL to make sure it works to somebody who isn't logged in as you, the audience, the clients. So, your production itself. I'm looking for the final production and your journal explaining how you have applied practical skills, how you've applied knowledge and understanding of your domain to complete a creative media project within the agreed time frame. So, your production itself, I'm looking for you to approach those near professional standards by practicing with the software and the hardware, the physical cameras or green screen, whatever it is you'll be using before actually creating the project. Now, what I mean by that is showing me you understand how it works, playing with different lenses if it's camera related, practicing, show me the test shots and then the final shots, show me that process, show me how you got better, show me how you learned throughout this process. Rather than just seeing something wonderful pop up at the end, which should be fine, I want to see the story of the project. I want to see you go through all the different iterations, the prototypes as it were, before you get to the final one. I want to see all of that on your WordPress. Don't just show me the end product. I want to see how you got there. What I mean by that is I want to see screen grabs. I want to see screen recordings of your software as you're doing it. I want to see photographs of you engaging with the actual production. I want to see vlogs of you behind the scenes talking about what you're doing, why you're setting out your set the way you are, why you're doing what you're doing. You reflecting all the while as you create. It's important we see that. It's as important as the project itself to see that story of what you are doing. Remember that. It's as important as the project itself. The submission evidence, as I've said, is the final production and the journal itself, explaining how you've applied your practical skills and knowledge and understanding. Okay? Right. Get really going fast now, aren't we? Okay. Any questions, as always, please let me know. But we're making really good progress. I'm available, as always, in one-to-ones if you need any extra help, but use your time efficiently. Be brutally efficient with your time. If your part-time job boss is saying, can you do this extra shift for me? Say no. Tell them that for the next 5-6 weeks, you're working on your career. You've got all summer to work full-time, earn money, do that by all means. But for the next 5-6 weeks, I need you completely focused. Cut down your hours, if anything. Cut out anything that is not necessary to you achieving all you can for your production. Okay? Right. As always, message me if you need help with anything at all. We're doing well. Keep up the good work.